Karen, could you explain the difference between 3111, 3118, and a 730?
3111 and 3118 are court-connected evaluations that are primarily done through the courts at a lower rate. 3111 is just a custody evaluation. 3118 is a custody evaluation where there is sexual abuse involved. Those are normally conducted by a evaluator that has gone through state training, that has conducted enough of the requirements in order to be able to evaluate what is going on with a family who is currently in family court, and they cannot come to an agreement on what is the best thing to do in their situation and with their child. So if there's no sexual abuse allegations, then a 3111 would be conducted and the parties would be interviewed. There would be collateral contacts that would be interviewed, and then the evaluator would come to a conclusion as to what would be the best thing to do for the child. The difference between that and the 3118 is that there is a sexual abuse component where those allegations would need to be ferreted out and figure out whether or not the sexual abuse allegations are valid or they're not valid. In a 730, that's something that the court uses on a frequent basis, but it's used in several different capacities. 730 is the code that's used to identify an expert. So you could have a 730 expert that does a custody evaluation that is a private party, not affiliated with court. You could have a 730 that is a financial expert. You could have a 730 that is a risk assessment expert. So there's all different categories of experts that the court can appoint under the 730 umbrella. A lot of people just consider a 730 expert to be a custody evaluator, being a private custody evaluator. So there's a lot of differentiation in that term, but it actually means an expert that the court appoints during a family law matter.
Okay, and a 3111, does that allege abuse, or why would a 3111 be called?
A 3111 is just a custody evaluation that's done through the court. Doesn't necessarily allege abuse or not. It's just where the parties cannot agree, and it's done at a lesser cost to the parties.
Okay, and a 3111 and a 3118, can they be done by private evaluators, or does it have to be by a court-affiliated evaluator?
Well, you have to be on a court list so that you're approved and that they know that you have met the requirements in order to be able to conduct the evaluation. So there are private party evaluators that are on that list, but the main thing is that you've met the qualifications to be on the list. It's just that those are done at a lesser cost. Some counties have farmed that work out to private parties because they no longer have those available through the court. So their court-connected evaluations are done by private parties that don't charge as much to do that work. Some court-connected evaluations are done actually through the courts themselves. It just depends on the counties themselves on how they administer their court-connected evaluations.
Okay, and how does one choose an evaluator if the court says that a 3111 or 3118 is required?
That also depends too. Sometimes the judge will ask the parties to pick one or two people, sometimes up to 3 people, and then cross their lists and choose one off of each other's lists, or perhaps one party will pick 3 people and then the other party will pick one person off of the list that the other parent has chosen, the 3. So there can be a wide variety of how the evaluators are picked. However, it has to be picked off of the county's list of approved evaluators.
Okay, and how would one find out background information on these evaluators so that you don't accidentally just randomly pick someone and they end up being a dud?
Well, you can normally find the list online through the different counties of who is available to conduct the evaluations, and then all you would have to do is just look them up online and do a little bit of research, or call them up and ask them information about, you know, who they are and what they do and what their philosophies are about how they investigate the allegations or what's going on in the cases that they're involved in.
Okay, thank you.